Yeah, I hear the fan now. I don't know why I hear it again. I'm not on your side louder.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. Shit.
I didn't do anything different.
I don't know why it's... Yeah. Let me see. Hi, guys.
Maybe it's a mic. Oh.
We're live. It's okay. Like, we're just setting up. Live now. I'm just checking, guys, see if this is working.
Maybe it's a mic.
Okay, let me close
It's okay.
this.
Like, we're just setting up.
All right.
Yeah, my chest.
Yeah, I hear the fan really loud. I don't know why it's so loud.
Whoa.
The can't... oh. I just saw Jordan's comment. I look so drowned out. Sorry, guys. You know what? I'm going to just close my window here. I'm going to look darker, but... Oh, now you can see my face. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Sorry, guys. We're just fixing the audio for a second because I want to make sure that we don't pass out while we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, this is just like a casual...
We all need the fans.
Yeah. Remember, it's just like a casual sit down. So we, you know, it's not like a perfect thing or anything because it's not edited. This is just like us sitting, discussing topics we want to discuss and thought you guys would be interested in. So this is a very laid back get together kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah, the fan is still there, but it's all right. I don't want you to not need it. You know, not, I mean, I don't want you to not have it is what I'm saying.
Oh my God. Yeah, goodness.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just fix this. Okay. So I don't know if everybody that is watching or is watching later knows about what's been going on. I mean, obviously there's a lot of stuff been going on. 2020 has been crazy, sometimes in a good way because it's brought to light a lot of things in the world and in our country that should have been addressed a long time ago. And one of the things recently has been like with social media influencers. And it actually has become so popular that it's now in, you know, mainstream news like New York Times and CBS and stuff like that. So.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Sorry, I hear you now.
That's okay. You know what? If you take your mic here, oh, that's better. I don't know what just happened, but it's like so much better. Whatever you did, just leave it. It sounds good. It sounds better. Yeah, the sound of the fan was just, I heard it, but whatever you just did.
I sent in my chi. That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah. So just put it close to here and it'll get better. Okay, cool. So, and Tarik being a major influencer would be a really good person to discuss this with. So when I was chatting with Tarik, I realized, hey, this is going on and in the public eye a lot more. Maybe we should have a discussion about positive ways that influencers can be helpful and ways that it can also be really stressful and stuff as well as an influencer. Because basically, I mean, I'm not an influencer like you, but I would assume it's kind of like, I would see it more so for
that time. Give it time. You're moving up there.
I hope so. But like that was the whole thing we're talking about is like, you know, the positive influencers I feel lately, like in general, a lot of them aren't as much in the spotlight as they should be. And it's kind of sad because a lot of kids look up to these influencers and a lot of them are really inspired by them and stuff. And sometimes they learn certain topics and things from them that can be negative and see people in a negative light, especially certain YouTubers right now that are in the spotlight for things that they've done in the past. And I think that's really crucial to, you know, the next generations and stuff that are going to be adults in the next 10, 20 years. So that's a whole other thing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So I don't know how, I mean, if you want to start with your work in it or maybe, I don't know. I mean, start whatever you want, but I was thinking maybe go into like your stuff, like a little bit.
Well, before we get to, a lot of this podcast is centered around the article that came out that Jeff Ronner wrote for Houston Chronicle. But before I get to that, I just want to, I definitely want to dive a lot into that, but I want to acknowledge some influencers.
This afternoon, I was alerted.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys. I just got something open.
I don't know what that was. I want to acknowledge some influencers that are really like, you know, sort of like a game changer in terms of like positive influence. and you don't have to be like some influencer with millions of followers. You just have to be an influencer that really puts their heart into it, and they're very professional, as in they're dedicated.
Yeah.
And take the time to sort of network and work with others, like Tasha White on actually on Instagram. Her name is under the group name for her organization, MWW.
I'm gonna put it in
MG, but we'll put that links in there if we haven't already.
Yeah, I'm gonna add those in.
Basically, Tasha White has the organization for Myasthenia Gravis. That's the autoimmune disorder I have. Myasthenia Gravis affects people in different ways, but she's found a way to pull out about it through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and help people connect with each other. So that's really cool. And I know that I was like sort of missing that, but I didn't realize how much I missed that until I met her and people in her group, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. So if you have Myasthenia Gravis, or under the possibility of having it, definitely check that out. And then for Farouk James, man, I don't know if you had a chance. Everybody had a chance to meet Farouk James on Instagram, but Farouk James is like really amazing. He's like a little kid with like a stick, flowing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm including
fro,
this now.
Man. He has his red fro. It's awesome.
It's really cool. I'm including everything in the comments. So like as you're discussing, I'm just putting it in, and then when I edit it, I'll put in like a snippet about this and put like where I am, their information stuff, so people can know. So I'm gonna put while you're talking. That's what I'm doing from looking down, just so people know. Sorry, go ahead. So you're talking about
okay.
Farouk. What? How do you pronounce it? Farouk James.
Farouk James.
Farouk James. Okay, got it.
Farouk. I've known many Farouks growing up, but it's the first time I've seen a little kid named Farouk. But Farouk, him and his mom have been in the UK school district because he has natural long hair, and it's like part of his culture. His mom, he's mixed, multiracial. His mom's white, his father's black, and she wants him to connect with both sides of that spectrum. And his hair is indicative of that, that journey. And so for him to cut his hair would be like to cut off half of him, And so they're like, no, we're not cutting his hair. He's also a model, and he like models for Gucci and like a lot of other huge brands. And so on one part of that, his identity doesn't need to be questioned and taken away from him. And then on top of that, it's like the part of their livelihood, because that I'm sure that money is going to his future, college and stuff like that. And for him to cut his hair, it means like it takes away what part of the reason why it's different. And as a model, that's just like, that's not cool, because you lose jobs, might not even model anymore after that, So So they're buying the school dress in the UK. I just have a few more.
No, I should share these. As you go through it, I'm gonna put in the comments. Who else do we have?
We have a really cool writer and activist that tours the nation for anti-racism. Rachel Cargle, if I'm saying her last name, Cargle.
Yeah, that's how I would pronounce it. I'm gonna put her in it now. So Rachel,
and she's awesome. And has been like touring the nation in different places. I'm sure like with COVID-19, that's probably slowed down dramatically right now. But at the very least, right now she's like doing like podcasts like this, and also doing a lot of like networking with different news channels that way. So while she can't travel, she's using social media in that way until like that's lifted. But yeah, definitely check Rachel Cargle out. And then last one is Alaa Murabit. She's a Canadian peace expert, doctor, and a women's rights activist. And I have like an appreciation for her journey. It's just amazing being like of a different culture and a different religion, and she's like basically getting attacked constantly for just being herself. And so she's an activist for herself and for others of different cultures, especially when you're like say you're like a culture not native to the country that you're in, like you're visiting or something, or traveling, and you're being really cool for being different. So there's a lot of people go to that experience and she speaks up for them, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Really cool. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Also, I don't know, we didn't decide when or who the guests are going to be and stuff, but we're going to be doing at some point an Instagram live stream at some point. So that way a lot of followers and stuff are on Instagram, but also I was talking with Tarik of maybe having some influencers on with us as like a group discussion and what they do
Yes.
to help promote that. I thought that'd be really awesome. So we're going to do that at some point. So be on the lookout for that. I always put ads and stuff up on my Instagram for iLLest Entertainers, even on my page for Emily Carmen Music, and on Tarik's page and stuff. So we'll have, some updates and notices about that, so you'll be aware of it. But we just wanted to start the discussion today and also focus on Tarik's experience and what he's done. He's done a lot of stuff. And like what I was saying earlier this morning to you was I was thinking about all your work and how when you started to develop symptoms and stuff when you were dancing, I wonder, like I asked you, but we didn't really get into it, like how you've shifted in a way to become such a powerful, positive influence on people. Like, did you ever think that would happen, or it just kind of, developed as time went on?
I still don't quite understand it all, to be honest. I'm still like my journey. It's like, it's all about perspective, and on my end of it, it's probably different than someone outside looking in. So I'm not sure entirely how I am perceived, and about how many people that I know is definitely more significant now than in the past. But I try to focus more on just like, I guess, the quality I'm putting into it, and then like I definitely focus on someone tells me personally, whether it's in person or chat or whatever, how they contact me about their journey, if I somehow help them and they're helping me, because basically when I was dancing, but it was like a lot of things I was dancing, I was performing, I was organizing events. I was getting more into that. I think subconsciously I must have sensed something, because I started doing more behind the scenes stuff. I started DJing and running events, and like I stopped dancing a lot less than I was doing, and I was just getting more tired. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically the transition was pretty tough, because it was sort of like a second nature type thing for me. But whenever I started meeting other people, not necessarily with Myasthenia Gravis, but other people with autoimmune disorders or rare diseases or something that's like, because everybody knows, I mean, cancer is horrible. Cancer is really bad, but everybody knows cancer, right? And Myasthenia Gravis, everyone's like, what is that? And then it's called the snowflake disease, because not one person, they call it that.
Oh, damn.
Because not one person is it's the same. Because snowflakes, not one snowflake is the same. So everyone with Myasthenia Gravis is affected differently. When I first heard that, I was like, "What are you trying to say?" Like, I was like, "What does that mean?" But no, because it's such a weird thing, and everyone's immune systems are calibrated differently. Their lifestyles are different.
Yeah.
So it can affect people differently. So one person might have Myasthenia Gravis, and only have like their left or right eye get tired, and that's it. And some people can't walk at all, like me, or need assistance like with the cane or wheelchair or something like that, and or some people have like just moments like that. And when it first hit me, like I was like, it didn't hit me all at once. It was like I was totally okay, and then I just hit the ground like a sack of bricks.
Wow.
I was like, what the hell was that?
It was like all of a sudden, like it was just like hit you, like boom.
Yeah, whenever it was like happening here and there, but then there's one part where it shifted and it really hit hard, and that's when I was like, oh, there's something wrong here. But yeah, I'm just thankful that people are really responsive to my social media outreach for activism against racism. I'm an advocate for animals, animal rights, and also vegan. And not nearly to the level that Joaquin Phoenix is. Joaquin Phoenix is like millions of people that jump into things he's doing. He's using his acting prowess as leverage for people to listen to him, being a vegan. So I think that's an amazing platform. I don't know, did you see that when Joaquin Phoenix did that when he won like the Oscar for Joker?
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I forgot about that until you just mentioned it. That was pretty powerful. But
Yeah, that was really powerful.
That,
And he took that, and he's on the podium talking about, a bunch of things, but veganism and like how the world could benefit from just like conserving at the very least, on certain things. But yeah, so I mean, I want to hear more about your journey too. People are watching this for both of us,
yeah.
and I want to make sure I don't bogart. I want to bogart that conversation. I don't feel bad about it because
Oh
you're an
no,
amazing person. And now let me just throw it to you for a second.
when it's talking with Tarik, so I'm like, my story. Mine actually was an article that I was in back in 2009, actually. And I mention it because, and it kind of segues into something else we're going to talk about. I had a song called Somethings, and I wrote it back in 2000. I started writing in 2003 on my guitar a little bit, and then I recorded it like 2005. And I started getting sick at the end of 2003. And yeah, so mine was more gradual, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks, but it was kind of like progressively getting symptoms, thinking everybody else felt shitty at certain times, and it just kind of started to just snowball. And I started writing songs before I got sick, and obviously I went to school to study music and all that as well. But what I did was I wrote a song called Somethings, and one of the lines was something standing in my way, so I think it said today that I'll just walk away. And I was listening to it recently with some friends. They were in like a video chat, and a friend of mine that had never heard the song was like, wow, this is a really powerful song, and I really liked it. And it made me revisit it. And anyways, I bring this up because now I'm working on it as a side project, making a music video. Yeah, so now I'm making a music video for it that incorporates everything going on, like present and past. So I want to use it as a way to, reach everybody with a song in like 3 minutes and kind of encapsulate everything going on within 3 minutes. And other artists have done this as well, but it was something I've always wanted to do. And I kept waiting. And in the original version of the song, which I redid with my band, The Noisy Tenants, the original version I did back in 2004, 2005, I actually put in news clips and stuff like audio. And it was President Bush at the time and stuff. I put him in there, and I put advertisements. So basically the whole concept was that like we are constantly not, like freedom, what is really being free, and with the entertainment industry and media, and like look this way, it'll be accepted and pretty, and all the different things going on. So I kind of brought all that together in that song when I wrote it. And it's interesting now because it was like a decade ago I wrote this, or more than that, 15 years ago. So like with my journey and stuff, I think that song kind of encapsulates everything with me also. And that's why I decided to work on this music video now, as opposed to just being like, I wrote that song a while ago, I'm just going to leave it. Because I think it's significant. It's in a way significant because it shows that this is still, same word again, but it's still significant today. So I decided to bring that back out. But I mentioned it also because with my journey, I only recently decided to, which I did a while ago, had a YouTube channel, and I talked about porphyria and all that, which is the condition I have, which is hereditary. The one I have is hereditary, and basically my body makes too many of these things called porphyrins, which has to do with heme synthesis, and it can cause a lot of different symptoms. With me, it was a lot of stomach issues and stuff, so every time I ate, I get really bad stomach pain, and then I was losing a lot of weight, and then that was horrible because as a girl, a lot of doctors were like, oh, you're just depressed, or it's this or that. Meanwhile, there was another underlying condition going on. It wasn't that. I was physically ill. So I think that's tough too when you have a chronic condition and stuff that's rare. And that's also why I got inspired to do this podcast and live stream, is to bring awareness to stuff that people might not be aware of. So that's kind of how this whole thing got together. And then why I decided to do Talking with Tarik with you, which is funny, which I thought before when you're talking about your work on Instagram and how people have contacted you, because that's how I met you. I just saw you come up and I was like, wait a minute, like he seems like exactly like what I want to do with my podcast and live streaming, and we would probably be able to relate to each other and stuff. And I messaged you. I didn't think you'd even answer me, and then we became friends, which is crazy.
I'm really thankful that it's like I think I try to be a people person in terms of being personable.
Yeah.
When I don't like to, in terms of influencers, not every influencer, but there are a lot of influencers that don't even talk to people unless they say, well, how many people are following them?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's in it for me kind of thing. I'm like, man, like I just want to talk to people that I'm here everybody else, for the, I mean, I definitely want to aspire for my goals as well too, but a big part of my goals is the fact that I can help people reach their goals.
Right.
So as soon as you wrote me and said, like, a lot of things you had in common, being an artist, musician, and with also the autoimmune disorders, and I was like, wow, I'm sure we can figure something out, in terms of collaboration or something like that. And there's a lot of people I want to collaborate with, and then they're writing back and they're like, why do you want to collaborate with me? And like, I'm nobody. I'm like, what the? It's like, I think a lot of people think that about themselves, like people, I'll get back on what we were talking about earlier, but okay, so a lot of people would, not everybody, but some people will value themselves based upon how many people they believe value them.
Right.
Like, and how they equate that sometimes is how many people are following them, or how known they are, how popular they are, and their popularity dictates their worth. And it's like, that's not cool, I mean, it's different if you're like a company, and you're trying to pay someone to promote something for you, then that's different because that's like more business oriented.
Right.
But for a person, just wants to talk to another person, like we're all equals. Animals, like when I'm an activist on equality as a whole.
Yeah.
And animals, humans, everything. Fish. Or that we're all, to my opinion, we're all like equals. And so online, when you get to online, I mean, I think a lot more people should be talking to each other, especially with social distancing right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's how we ended up doing the live stream thing too.
I think
we realized that people could, have a way to interact with us at a time when everybody feels so distant. Like that's kind of how we got into live stream. Sorry, I meant to cut you off.
Exactly.
It was cutting out on my side a bit. So if it's cutting out,
I think I think it on our side, it looks like it's cutting, but it's not.
Okay.
I'm watching simultaneously.
Okay,
cool. It's weird. I'm looking here. That's why I apologize.
I know. Yeah, if I'm looking down, yeah.
I'm sure that we're not cutting out on as a viewer. I'm looking at it as a viewer as well and seeing what they see.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And so far, I don't see anything cutting out. Like on our side, it'll go like.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But on their side, it's like, hey, how's it going? Blah blah. But on our side, all we're hearing is.
Yeah. You're gonna do that, and I'm like, what's really happening?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just funny. I'm like
editing.
No.
I can't get it corrected. I can't correct this. Sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't.
That was funny.
There's a lot revolving around this, but I want to get back to the article because that's really the nucleus. I mean, you brought this up, and then I started thinking about the article, and Jeff Ronner, and Jeff is a great writer. He's written a couple of stories about me, and I'm really thankful for that.
I put it in the description. I put it in the comments, by the way, so anybody watching.
Yes. So everybody click on that. That's a really important article. Yeah. And then it brings in different influencers. Well, I guess only two influencers, like myself, and then Sydney V. Smith. Sydney's like a really good friend of mine. Sydney V. Smith is in the article, so everybody click that and find her on Instagram too. And basically, her story it is a bit different, but at the same time, what the nucleus, the common denominator, is that we both went into Instagram and being a social media influencer, having one thing in mind, and then something like life changes happen.
Yeah.
And then it changes how to use that. So one cool thing about the article is that it shows how versatile social media can be as an influencer. And then it brings in Paul Green of the Houston Volunteer Initiative Program. It's a long title. I was like, oh my God, I forgot how to say that. But he's really cool. And I was unable to meet him in person. So Sydney met him in person for me.
Oh, cool.
Because I'm like, in a wheelchair, and sometimes I want to go, but then like I'll get closer to a meeting and meeting someone in person. Especially at the time, I was just like, I wasn't feeling well, and that happens, like I get overheat or get stressed, and I just have like a setback for like a day or a week or something, So she went there for me, and she made that happen physically for me. Like, like I set up the meeting. I do a lot of organization.
Oh, cool.
Like behind the scenes, like I'll make calls or write someone or something, and make people meet people or something.
Like networking and stuff. Yeah.
Networking and stuff. But sometimes I'm lucky and blessed to meet someone in person. I'm really thankful whenever that does happen. Yeah. And then also Lena Hidalgo She's a judge for Harris County here in Houston, Texas. And Lena Hidalgo is the one that created the, well, she didn't create it, but she implemented the Stay at Home Act for Houston.
Oh, cool.
So, and she took, I was sort of upset about that because she took so much heat for doing her job.
Yeah.
You know, for trying to save people's lives, you know, and some people understand what she's doing, but some people are like, oh, I want to be able to party or walk down the street without having wearing a face mask. I'm like, man, you're trying to save somene's life.
Yeah.
Like someone like me that has like a compromised immune system, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that the other day, yeah.
Yeah, or an elderly person or someone that can't afford not to work and they have like a job that's still available and they go in the middle of town on a bus. Maybe they can't drive and they take a bus like with crowded people and like, you know, so they're wearing a face mask and someone's coughing all over them with no face mask. So she was just trying to help people. And I spoke a little bit about just like their programs and but yeah, if one can check out that article, and I'm hoping maybe Sydney could be one of the people that come in.
Oh, that'd be great.
With that influencer panel, but I want to get like with you and see like what influencers we can get.
Yeah.
Collectively, I don't know how many people can we get.
Oh God.
on this service. I don't even know.
Yeah, I was saying that. I was talking to Josh, who's actually one of the people I was going to mention too, because I just interviewed him. Joshua Pangborn, a friend of mine.
He seems cool.
He has a whole production company and stuff, and they focus on body positivity and supporting LGBTQIA+ and all that in his work and web series and media. Yeah, I got to ask him because I know when he does his live streams, he has tomorrow actually at 8:00 on his channel, which I'll post later. They have about about 7 or 8 people, but I think once it gets past 6 people, it adds in. Oh, he just said StreamYard can have up to 10 people. Thank you, Josh. He just commented. Okay, so we could have up to 10 people. So it'd be me, you, and I guess 8 other people we could do. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, that's a lot.
There is.
Yeah, let's go for it, man. Hey, thanks, Josh.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So that'd be awesome.
So if we get like everyone off our list of influencers, and then this cool influencer that we know.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty dynamic, you know.
Yeah, and it's weird. I mean, in a way, it's like we were talking about with other things going on in the world. It's like it's bad, but at the same time, it's bringing out good. Like, you know, when we're talking about everything with setting this up, like with the YouTubers and stuff like that, it's like it's bad that happened. But now look, like now it came to light for us of, oh, let's do an episode where we have a bunch of positive influencers come on and talk about the good stuff. Because I see a lot of, whenever something happens in social media stuff lately, it seems like it's always negative.
Oh my God, no.
But a lot of the time, it's like when it hits media, like, you know, mainstream, it's always, not always, but a lot of time lately, I've noticed it's very negative. And I feel like they're not focusing on stuff like the positive. Like, for example, Alicia Keys came out with a music video 5 days ago. And then I just sent you a few hours ago, you know, like the background she did about the behind the scenes of the music video. And the video has like, for Alicia Keys, it's about maybe 470,000 views. And she's like, you know, world-renowned musician, performing artist. And her music video has been up for 5 days, and it has not even 1 million views yet, which is sad because it's like, that's a really important message. Yeah. And that kind of bothered me. Like, wow, like we're not sharing what we should be sharing and being influenced by the positives. We're so into this cancel culture thing of canceling, you know, the negative people. We're not even focusing on what we should be. Like, let's just not focus on them and focus on the good.
What's your idea for a term that's opposite of cancel culture that did something that propels positivity? we should think of something like that.
Something, like a hashtag, like positive something, like, gosh, yeah, that would be like cancel culture is negative. That's a really good idea. Yeah. And anybody wants to comment on that, help us decide that. We can do that. Yeah.
Maybe like uplifting culture or something, but I don't know. Yeah. We need something that's catchy or something. We should think of that.
Yeah, like a pun on it. Yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I was trying to find the Alicia Keys video to put in, but I can put it in later. But you guys should check it out because she does a whole thing about how people are, you know, with the police brutality and racism and discrimination and everything. It's really good. Oh, Jordan said inspire culture. Oh, that's it. Yeah, inspire culture is a cool hashtag. That could work.
Because like, yeah, inspired culture sounds better than woke culture. I mean, being someone that's awakened, that's cool. But when people say woke, it sounds not cool to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, woke, I mean, I think I think
Like,
I mean, if
sleep
someone's
culture.
really cool, they can say. If someone's really cool, they can say anything. If someone says something at the right time and the right way, the right, but for it to be like everyone says something
Yeah.
that's like a unified understanding that something better. Yeah, that we need
Yeah.
something that's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need some hashtag. Maybe by the time we do the like 8 guests plus us thing, we can come up with something and get that
Maybe
that
that could be
going.
one of the things, like they introduce their name, what they do, and the third thing be like their bid for the new name for that or something.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, with all of them sharing it too, it'll be like people will see it and stuff. That'd be cool. But I think that's a good, like way to do this also as like a project or something, is to show like, see, here's a positive of all these positive influencers getting together and getting into the mainstream about that. Like, not for a fame, but we just want to show like, here are people doing good things with their fame and with being known, and people are so into the negative, which is important. I don't want to, make it seem like it's not important to show people abusing their, power, because obviously that's a big thing going on right now, every topic going on. But I think
I'm
it's
sorry to interrupt for 1 second.
Yeah.
Do you hear that? Is this fan okay?
The fan, I hear it a little bit, but if you need it, just leave it. Don't worry about it. I don't care.
Okay, I'll try.
You can deal. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Like, if you need it, leave it. I don't care.
I apologize, but I'm constantly trying to maintain my core temperature.
Yeah.
If it rises up, I get all lethargic. I'm for haven. Like I get all weird or something.
People think you're drunk. What's wrong with Tarik?
You know what's weird about that? I messed up. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I accidentally turned the fans off because I leaned forward too much.
Oh crap.
But it's crazy about that. It's like, wait, here you go.
Got it.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, that's okay.
I used to like how this affected me.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's kind of cool. My pillows are pushing me forward. That's cool. I'm sitting on the bed. I'm not in a studio or anything. I'm just like at home.
That was fine. It's just casual chat. Like, I know people. I'm just like, it's just casual. If you want to watch it now, great. If you don't worry about it. Like, and then I put up an edited one in a few weeks. So it's fine. Oh, that fan I can hear though. That's loud. That one's loud. Yeah. I don't want you to turn it off though. Just like angle it.
Oh no, there's like 3 speeds, and I think it hit the wrong speed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
okay.
fine.
That's what it was.
Good. Yeah, that's okay. Sorry, guys.
No, but I used to before this really hit me. Like there were moments where in a club scene, being like a club promoter sometimes too. I used to do that a lot, and I'll stay up late, and people would drink and whatever and stuff like that, and I'm my computer is responding to me. That's weird.
You sound fine. Like it's nothing.
No, my computer was listening to me, and it was like asking me like Siri. It was like Siri right there for a second. No, but
you like to go clubbing.
all the clubs in the Houston area. No, but I'm some people know this term straight edge, like where like you don't drink or smoke or do drugs and that, and like I never did any of that. I never will, and that's just me personally.
Yeah, same.
That's just me personally. Like I don't judge anyone. Like I'm all about not judging people. So I do know people. And everybody knows something. That smokes a little weed or does something, whatever. Yeah. But I don't judge people. Yeah. And exactly. But I'll be around people that are doing that, and then I'll be on a person not drinking, and I'll still look sometimes like I'm tipsy once in a while.
I know, yeah.
I just get really tired, and I didn't realize that that's a common symptom of Myasthenia Gravis.
Oh damn!
And that was like way back then. It was like probably like my immune system was strong enough to resist everything.
Yeah.
But it will still have glimpses, Yeah. And so like that's a big thing about Myasthenia Gravis is that this one lady on. I can't remember her name. It was like a really quick post I saw. It was like a glance.
Oh,
and she goes, I'm not drunk, like I hate going places and then think that I'm drunk or something. And then every once in a while, security, like if she's in the store, they'll follow her thinking she's drunk and trying to steal something.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it's gonna make me cry. Holy crap.
And that's like, I know it's sad. That's like part of the thing, like because like it's like it affects everyone differently. And sometimes we don't have like a walker or a cane or something. Like if she had like a cane or walker, wheelchair, they're like, oh, there's something going on there,
Yeah.
But since she was just walking around and she's like, hey, slur speech, and when her eyes sometimes would go like that, you know. And that's like my eyes do that too. That's the reason why I spoke to you earlier about lighting, because I'm on lights unusual.
Yeah.
I have two lights going this way. I look here,
but the lights are yeah.
but the lights are going this way, and so because if I look directly at it, as we're talking, I would like start going like that, you know. And I want to do that, you know.
Yeah.
If you look at one of the actual picture to use for the promotion, I have on. I can't tell what side it says because it's like reverse, but my left eye.
Yeah, I remember. Like it's a really cool like. It looks like the greater than or less than sign.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And it looks like some kind of board game plant for Star Trek or something.
It looks really dope. I love it. And I would wear it. Like I would wear it on stage and doing music and stuff. I love it. I think it looks really cool.
I like to make things look fashionable and also have the purpose of medical use, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's for my left eye. My right eye luckily doesn't do that, you know. But I mean, it can tire out. But my left, oh man, I can tell you the story real quick. I'll tell you the story real quick. Okay, so I didn't realize that I had I'm borderline glaucoma.
Okay.
Oop, man, light just fell over. Glaucoma.
Not our day today.
It's not. I mean, with lights, you know. Glaucoma runs in my family, and I didn't know that, and so I was always having like migraines in the eyes, and that was like part of the process because the glaucoma was happening too, but it's in a lesser level. But when it gets really low, so things just get right through like normally wouldn't get through. So glaucoma was like totally inflaming in my eyes.
Oh my god!
My left eye especially, because the left eye is weaker. Myasthenia gravis for me. You know, everyone's a little different, you know, but for me, my left eye is weaker, and the light was on too long one time. And I was too tired to tell someone like close by to turn it off. I was really bad. That's when I was really sick, you know. I have moments I'm sick, but I was really sick then, you know. And so, and I was like stressed about stuff, you know, bills, medical bills, and household bills, like not able to work or do anything. And so that add on top of it. So you got stress, glaucoma, and then the light. So those three things.
Oh god, bad combination.
Turns out the glaucoma was working. I was taking like the doctors give you their version of steroids for cancer and for myasthenia gravis. It's pretty common, or autoimmune stuff, like people, because you can't develop muscle very well,
right,
or at all sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And so they were giving me steroids, and it was actually like sort of helping a little bit, not like as much as I wanted to, but I was like, there's something going on in my legs, like maybe over time this can do something, you know. And I was like really hopeful. And then it turns out that the steroids is like working with the glaucoma, and my left retina almost detached itself from inside my eye. Like it lifted up. I was starting seeing like this huge blue turquoise dot everywhere.
Oh my god, that was something.
And then it kept getting darker and bigger in the left eye. So that was scary.
I would have freaked out. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really freaky. And my left eye is still not the same. But now I don't notice it unless I close my right eye and I look and I see like something will move, it get blurry, or it will get like a yellow hue, and I'm like solely colorblind in my left eye, with green and blue. Like I can still green, but I can't see all the value scales in green. Like I'm missing some of them.
That's interesting. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, so.
Damn.
So yeah, like I don't know why I talked about that, but yeah. So my left eye. Oh yeah, because the thing.
Yeah.
So where's that thing on my left eye?
The eye thing. Yeah. Sorry.
To help prevent any stress on the exterior muscle of the eye.
Yeah.
And it can't help with the interior eye, but it does reserve more energy, which inadvertently would help reserve more energy inside my eye, sort of. You know.
Damn. So that's like. That whole condition and stuff, like it really affects you on different levels. Like it's not just like one thing, you know, it's like
it's everything.
A bunch of stuff. Yeah. It's kind of like how porphyria is too, where some people get like really bad cardiovascular issues. Some people even can get certain types of porphyria can have psychological stuff. People can have seizures, trouble breathing and stuff. Like everybody kind of has different, like mine is very gastrointestinal, and I get respiratory, as you know, like sometimes I feel like I can't breathe. Not like that I'm gonna like pass out, can't breathe, but like it's just more noticeable.
Right.
But it's kind of similar in the sense of that not everybody has the same, you know, cookie cutter symptoms. It's like everybody's got different ones.
And
So
it was really trippy about that is that when I don't know how the topic come up, but I guess the COVID-19, I saw it affects different people,
mhm.
and I started realizing that I'm in like a really bad situation.
I know, yeah. I sometimes like really, like have to step back and think about it sometimes. I'm like, oh shit, this is really scary.
Yeah, it's scary,
Yeah,
you know. But
totally.
luckily, that's why I don't go anywhere. But
Mhm.
what you call it, contacted me. It was like a Better Care America contacted me, and they did like a paid sponsored post for me, you know, and so it
Oh,
helped me,
cool.
you know, because you know, I can't physically work, so that
Yeah.
really was I was really appreciative of that. But basically, that helped push that campaign on Instagram further to get more people to know about the people that are more susceptible to COVID-19. And it was like people that are African American descent, people that are Hispanic, um, uh, that work in the middle of town,
Yeah.
and people that are elderly, people who come around the immune system. Um, People that don't wear a face mask, you know, and so like I think that what I feel is that the reason why, this is my opinion, why I think that some people that are African American and Hispanic or Latin descent, that they're inside town. Everyone outside of town, and I mean, can be effective, but it seems to be safer.
Right.
But inside town, I think it's because there are a lot of for me, in my experience, like I'm just now in the suburbs. I'm 42. I'm 40, 42.
Like, yeah, like your birthday just passed. Yeah.
And but like in my 30s, all my life has always been inside of town. I never really thought about the suburbs, not even once, you know. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of African Americans don't like think about the suburbs in that sense, and not everybody, but a lot of us, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because we're just used to the culture built around the center of town, you know. They're really like 13-14% of the population. And and so when you're like a smaller amount of people,
Yeah.
it's harder to share resources within that culture. So sometimes we don't all have the best car. I mean, some of us have great jobs, but not everybody does. But those that don't, you know, have to work in the middle of town. I take the bus or something like that. Like
Yeah.
I took the bus my entire life up until like my 30s.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember talking about that. Yeah.
My entire life up to my 30s, and then I've driven here and there, but I didn't get a car until my 30s. I didn't start driving until like my early 30s.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it took a long time, and I think that's uncommon for anybody like to take that long. But that just gives a good example that. So like, imagine if COVID-19 was happening there, right? And I'm like on the bus, taking 2 buses to work, I worked 3 jobs. I'm like that. I'm at that guy on Living Color. The man's so lazy. Only got 16 jobs. Remember that?
Yeah.
The Jamaican family and stuff like that. So I got the locks. I got 16 jobs. You know what I'm saying? No, but I had like three or 4 jobs.
Yeah.
Every time I said the jobs get more, I had like about 6, 7, 5 jobs. But
But
I had like I worked at a call center. And then like they're really unstable, and so eventually like I couldn't work there anymore. Like the campaigns dried up. Started working. I got bills that cost a living. It's expensive. I had bills, and so I was working at Whole Foods. I was working at Radio Shack, and then a second Radio Shack, and then my fourth job was promoting clubs on Saturdays, like almost every Saturday.
So then when you started getting sick, that's it. You can't.
When I got started getting sick, I wasn't working as many jobs. I was working just one job and still doing like one Saturday a month. So I wasn't working really as much when I got sick. So that's like I would assume that's when it would happen. But I was like really strong when I was working those 4 jobs. I was like 180 pounds of muscle, and I'm like 5'8".
Right.
I had no neck. It was my ears. You couldn't even see my ears. My neck, with my shoulders up here. It was just muscle, and I was working out. I was also going to the gym too. Yeah, I was going to the gym. I was like, and in between jobs, I do push-ups, constantly eating, keeping my calories. I was like, I don't know, that was crazy, But so you would think that's when my on the minister would kick in, but it was doing great. I was doing great, but financially it was a big strain. But imagine if COVID was going through that.
Oh God. Yeah.
I would have been wiped out. You know, and
Yeah.
having to work all those jobs, and then
Yeah.
not able to afford anything. So there's a lot of people that are don't have all the opportunities that should be there. Like, you know, there should be more opportunities there for people. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what a lot of people don't realize is there was somebody I saw on I think it was on 60 Minutes. This woman that is one of the I think she's the first like head of Con Edison something. Can't remember exactly her title, but she was up there. And she was talking about how her kid is very, very sick with leukemia, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but it was very, very severe. And she was concerned because she has to be out in public working. Her two other kids are working, comes home, and she's a wreck to just see her son, who's like 12 years old. But that's another example. You know, it's like people have to go out and then they come home to their family and they're not being cautious or giving a crap about anybody else. You know, these people are bringing this back to family members and stuff that are sick. So it's not even just sometimes the person going out, it's who they're coming home to.
Yeah.
It's a whole other thing. And that kind of ties into what I was just going to say about influencers in general. Like when I was watching some YouTubers and stuff, and I see some of them not doing basic safety, social distancing stuff, it kind of upsets me because I think, wow, like you're influencing a lot of people. Like one video you do not doing basic safety, and you're influencing millions of people, millions of teenagers, young adults that are watching you and look up to you.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, but you're right. Like they're setting the precedence whenever you're an influencer. And you have responsibility to, because even it's like subconscious, like at the very least subconsciously, because there's the influencer goes out there and doesn't wear a face mask, and they're doing like they have their phone or a camera with them, and then people think that person is cool.
Yeah.
Then maybe it's okay to do this. You know, they just walk outside without thinking. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so mind-boggling. And then like, you know, you get into when there was the looting and all that, and then some, you know, famous YouTubers went out there and were filming it, and then they get arrested, and then they, you know, I'm talking about, I'm like not naming names, but I'm sure people that watch YouTubers know what we're talking about. And that's upsetting too, because it's like you're an example. I think that's a lot of pressure that happens for people that get into social media fame and celebrity stuff. It's like that you become an example to everybody else. So I think the fan is picking up more on the sound.
I think that I was going to ask your opinion on this earlier when you were talking about. It's actually come up a bunch of times. We talked about the future of the world, without trying to get too grandiose. I mean, I think it's a real thing that's happening. So there's a shift. There's a shift that's happening with, like, you know, using social media, like what we're doing. You know, like happening like with Zoom, and Zoom hit. It was like everywhere, right? And Zoom and we're using
StreamYard.
Different StreamYard, you know, and that's everyone. StreamYard is pretty awesome.
No, it should be sponsoring this.
Yeah. They should.
I know, right?
Everything you love in life and you're passionate about and you commit to, you should be paid for. Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, even if someone's not being paid for that, that's okay. But that's like ideally what should happen. Like, because I want to get off topic, but it sucks when I see someone has like hopes and dreams, and they cast that aside because they had to pay their bills, and then the hopes become nothing. You know, like, oh, I was an artist and I used to paint and draw, but I can't even pick up a pencil anymore. I don't know so many artists that say that the exact same words.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true. Yeah.
But basically, influencing that's another thing. Influencing is part of a dream, because whoever thought that being yourself and trying to talk to people could be lucrative, could be a career, profession, you know. And I think some influencers compromise their integrity. Not all of us, you know. Obviously, there's a lot of amazing influencers, but the ones that do compromise, I think they're doing so because there's fear that they will lose followers, or will lose their momentum if they focus on something that's like a tough topic. So they either try to dilute the topic with something that's trivial in the middle of that or something. You know, look at what I'm wearing today, you know, and I'm just going to just not talk about anything important. Like, fashion is like really important to me. So, but I always weave fashion into something important. Like whenever I did that I was trying to mention that earlier. I forgot to say that. So the COVID-19 post I did for Better America, Better Health America. I was wearing like my medical lab test bracelets.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm finding it while you talk, so to share it. But go ahead.
And it was like kind of subtle, but it was basically trying to show that, you know, that like, because it had like a very polished look, but at the same time it had this medical thing and medical bracelet. So it was trying to show like, you know, if you're sick and you're fighting this thing, we don't have to be what you expect. You know, there's amazing people that, you know, that's still successful, that's still stunning, and still like, you know, represent themselves in a way that's still like admirable, but at the same time they're sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like there's a lot of people that you admire in life and later on find out like they're suffering to something. There's so many like actors, like what's that one girl's name?
Oh,
with the really big, well, she has really big eyes, like crazy big eyes, and she's really short, and she has a low voice. That she's older than she looks. I mean, she's still young, but she's older than she looks, and like she's in a lot of horror movies.
Oh my god! Yeah, shoot. Oh my god! Maybe another moment where I put it up later and we're just like, bubble, there's the person.
But she has a lot of medical problems. She has like constant surgeries to take out internal organs, like her kidney, liver, and transplants and stuff like that. And she's constantly have like scars, and she'll like do a scene, but she'll like cover up her stomach or something. Yeah. Because of fear of people seeing her scars. And so there's like, and I was like, I thought she was cool before that. And then I saw that, I was like, that makes someone extra cool. I'm like, not saying like you have to be suffering to be cool, but if someone's already an amazing person, like everybody knows Keanu Reeves is cool. You know, Keanu Reeves is a cool dude, right? And he has dyslexia.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, he has like a learning disability that he's like struggled through growing up, and he had like, you know, you read a script, you had dyslexia, you got to remember all your lines. Your whole job is like on your script, you know. So I mean, he's really had to face this thing, and so I thought that he was really cool. And I saw that, I was like, man, that dude's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's like the whole thing. Yeah, like to talk about stuff that I think it helps desensitize it in the sense of to not, like, a lot of people are ashamed of like, oh, I have this or I have that, you know, and it's like that. By celebrities and influencers and stuff talking about it openly, like what we're doing, it makes it more, you know, I hate to say the word accepted because it should be accepted regardless, but you know what I mean? Like it
regardless.
It makes it more like, and then I don't like say the word normal either, but it makes it people more aware and don't feel like it's a shocking, like, oh, okay, like, yeah, whatever, like, you know, you have porphyria, you've got dyslexia, or you got this or that. Like, you know, it's not as shocking. It's just accepted. It's like, yeah, okay, that's who you are. That's awesome. Like, you know, it's a cool thing. And like you said too, it's not, you're still cool even if you don't have something like that, but it makes it more on the spectrum of just like just everybody's got stuff, and that's fine.
Right.
So I think that's important also. I was just gonna ask something. I totally blanked on it. Darn it, I just blanked on it. It's okay. I shared the link about that. I think I put the right one in here. It was the Instagram, the COVID one. Yeah, the one with the armband. I just want to make sure I put the right one in. So I put that in discussion, and then I just blanked on the other stuff. Oh, the fan. I can hear it really loud all of a sudden on you.
Oh, right. I think I did something with my arm. Sorry.
That's okay. What was the other thing I was going to ask you about your journey? Oh my god, I just blanked on it. Shoot. Okay, so we're talking about like influencers and stuff like that. Like, when did you realize, oh no, this is what it was. Okay. Remember the other week when we're talking about that you were listed as one of the top fashion influencers of 2020?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. I remember like you thought that was crazy stuff, and it's funny to me. I was like, how is that crazy? Like, you know, you should be at the top of a lot of, you know, influencers.
I appreciate that. I mean, I feel that too, that, you know, I put a lot of energy and focus on that, but I was still like, it's still like trippy, surreal to see that, because you're like, what?
Right, yeah. Exactly, yeah. It's crazy, you know? But I don't know. I think it's awesome.
But so like when that happened, I was like, okay, it is reinforce what you're talking about earlier, like responsibilities. Like, so I underestimated. I mean, it's a good thing, but I underestimated my reach. I was like, well, I must be doing something to reaching a lot of people. So I started focusing even more on my content. I think it was like right after that, this natural hair company, and that's another thing. Like, I like to work with people that trying to do their mission statement's important, and so they're focused on beauty, natural hair, especially for in the African American culture. I mean, you don't have to necessarily have to be African American to use their hair, but I think people in African American culture, we benefit from that because it's hard to find products that work, and it works for me. So that's a big deal. And I was like, cool, and so I worked with them on this thing, and somehow the ad, I'm trying to find the right words for this, but it was like one of my most artistically speaking, and my most like fluid photo shoots. It was like I did it like a quarter of the time because like I was more infused with it, like emotionally. So as an artist and an influencer, they like connected, I'm holding like a little light. That's what that was.
Okay. I was putting the links from your Instagram, like for the hair product advertisement, fashion influencer. I just put that in the comments.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so it's in there. But when I edit, I'll put like the little, like usual. I'll do that. I'll have little clips.
And everybody that's watching here, that's a friend of mine, or that's been following the stuff I'm doing, follow Emily Carmen right there. Wait, where's she?
Oh,
yeah, Emily Carmen right there.
Thank you.
Follow Emily, man. She's doing good things. She's helping people. So you should follow her. That's what I'm saying.
I'll put mine in too, so people know.
Yeah, don't forget about yourself.
I know that. Thank you. Just remind me what I want to talk about. That's what I was talk about. Is like we've had this discussion too, where for the whole concept of what I'm doing and what I want to do is work with charities and have kind of like when guests come on and stuff, like links to charities and stuff that people can donate or just become more aware about whatever topics we're talking about. And then you said, it's important to also be sponsored and have, some sort of financial support as well, or else I can't do what I want to do to help others, and that's important. Because I always find myself getting into like, sensitive area of like, oh, do I even ask for anything? Do I not? Like, what do I do? And that's important,
Here's my thing. Like, you should, whatever you want to do in life, I respect your wishes for yourself. That's your life. But for me personally, my methodology, how I talk to, because like I felt weird at first, but then now it's like normal. Like I talk to companies and like they want to work with me, and if I really, don't like the product that well, I'm like, I don't know, I don't know about this. But if I like your product, then I'm like, yeah, I want to work with you. And then like, how much you may pay people to do this, and this is what I do. And this is what you most likely would get for working with me. Connection to my fan base and followers and people that work with me and stuff like that. Because I built it up over time, and it's a lot of work. I should be paid for that.
Right.
Because I think I'm worth that. And so you have to remind yourself that you're worth this. And then they know it, but once you say that, they realize, okay, this person's not going to budge unless they get something out of this. And so they'll either say like, I'll pay this amount of money, or how about this amount of money, and you negotiate. But every once in a while, I'll do something that's just like totally for free. Actually, I do like a lot of something like with another influencer. I work with influencers a lot like that. Because because we're all helping each other. Like there was a I actually want to tell. Oh man, what's her? Oh, I'm trying to find out. I want to mention that right now. Actually, there's an influencer. She's an activist. She's also in a wheelchair, just like me.
Oh right, yeah.
And where's my keyboard? And I want to do a shout out for her.
There's another girl. What's her name? Yeah, there's another one. It's one called Lauren Lolo Spencer. She's also she's a disability advocate and stuff as well. And I'm gonna link her also in this. I'm trying to get her to come on as well. She's also has a YouTube channel. Before I forget, also my friend Shana, she like best friend. She does burlesque and Belle Book and Candle, and what they do is kind of like what Josh with his production company does is they promote body positivity, and they have dancers and stuff of all shapes and sizes and stuff. Like it's not just like which I like what they do because they promote everybody. which is awesome. So you go to a show and you see women dancing and stuff that are beautiful regardless. Like they could be tall and thin, they could be short and more voluptuous or something, or they, whatever it is. And that's what I like about their shows that she promotes and works in, because she makes sure everybody has a stage. It's not just like a certain type of person that comes on their stage, and every single act is different and unique, which is awesome. And I think it kind of gets more into the message of that, everybody's different, everybody's special in their own way, and everybody's beautiful in their own way, which is nice. I mean, I know it sounds kind of cliche and stuff, but I mean, I recommend anybody in Los Angeles go to their show, which I think they're going to start doing something for live streaming and stuff, possibly. Or show something so people that they can't go to a show right now can still be a part of it. So that's cool. Oh, right. So you just shared the did you share the Instagram link? I just saw.
Yeah, that's her Instagram link. The turning point. She's to have, and I did basically a story for her on Instagram, and she was like, "You would do that?" I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "Yeah." I mean, she made one for me. That was really cool. But yeah, it's like she doesn't have many followers, but she deserves it. She works and she tours, or she did before COVID, and she's trying to get out there. So. And that's really good people know. And I mentioned this earlier also for influencers, Sydney V. Smith. And Sydney is really, I need to put her Instagram on here. And she's reinvented herself.
I think I can show this on here. I'm going to just click show and see what happens. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So it shows Instagram turning point there.
Sydney was known more for her rings at first. She used to wear these like net rings as body modification, which that's really cool. But but she's now looked more into her. She's taking those off, and she's a mother now, and she's like trying to be more into health, and she's been more into fitness and nutrition, but also emotional wellness. And so that's a big deal. And you can still be a body mod person, not body mod, and be healthy. But for her, it was like a different part of her life that was in the past, and she wanted to be different.
Right.
So she doesn't wear the rings anymore, but she's still an artist, and she's working with a lot of cool artists, like visual artists, and like having herself model into their paintings and being artistic. And so I think artistically, there you go. She's a very inspirational person, and it shows that you can be any version of yourself as long as it's you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay. Sorry, just seeing if I'm learning this as we go.
I'm posting right there.
Oh, okay, you got it?
I found it right now.
Okay, cool. That's right. If you put it in the chat thing, I can just show it.
There you go.
I can show it. Oh, perfect. Okay, I'm going to put it here to show everybody. Boom, there it is. So it's Sydney V. Smith on Instagram. Right. So there it is. That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of different things. Yeah, that's, I think, a thing that gets for influencer stuff too, like the whole, how do you support yourself and still help other people and not be, labeled? And that was what I was going to ask you. How do you pick who to work with? Because especially now with everything going on with, people coming out with things about themselves that, if their past that was negative or racist or discriminatory or whatever, how do you go about picking who to work with or who to have?
Oh yeah, you gotta be careful about that.
Yeah, like
you gotta be careful because you think, well, this person is cool, and then like you glance at them, they're cool, and then you see like they have all these like horrible sort of backwards way of thinking, stuff. It's like they need to be more forward thinking, and so. But no, not everyone is perfect, and someone has to say everything right all the time for me to work with them. Yeah. But it's like generally speaking, if someone can mess up on something once in a while, something like too bad, and you can tell they just didn't realize. And then I talked to this person, like, hey, like I was wondering about work with you, and so I think it's just a matter of looking into them and seeing also who's around them, because you could tell a lot about a person about the company they keep. Another. One last person I want to shout out, and I put his. He has different Instagram pages. Okay. This is probably the one that I look at the most.
I can put it in later.
He's another
into clips. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put a whole thing about influencers, and it'll list them.
Let's see if I find that. Where am I? I'm like losing track where I'm at.
And I try to explain to people, like, this is a chat for, like, we're basically sitting down having coffee with, and people want to come sit and listen, like, that's fine. And then when I edit them, they look with the information and stuff all neatly included. I'm going to do, I know I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be doing a trailer so people can, I wanted to wait to have some episodes and put little clips. So then Tarik put it on his page, I'll put it on my pages. And that way people can see what is this, Talking with Tarik about. And it's nice, it's a different thing from, I have guests that I'm also doing, I'm trying to catch up with. Like I had Josh on recently, and I still have other guests like Jim McElwain was a mentor of mine and big in the music industry. I have other artists. I have Steve Sandberg coming on in a few weeks. So what I'm doing, so he works on Dora the Explorer and stuff. So what I'm going to do is also have so many people like Carol Shock and stuff, who's a very famous songwriter, a ton of people. So what I'm doing is having Talking with Tarik as a live stream interactive way, then also as podcast stuff with snippets. Then I have on the other side guests coming on talking about their journey into the entertainment industry as artists and what they do. So I thought this was nice because of what we kind of fell into with the current situation in the world. We had an opportunity to do a live stream and have people able to watch, and then also have a visual aspect as well. And also I'm going to have the podcast as a podcast, but also what I'm trying to do is have a visual with proper closed captions for people that are hard of hearing or hearing impaired, so that they can also enjoy podcasting, because I realize that that's a whole demographic of people that can't enjoy a podcast. So that's also why I try to do visual and video as well, so that anybody can enjoy it, because I feel like that's a whole group of people that can't enjoy something that's so popular right now, especially.
That's true.
I kind of mentioned that, yeah. So.
Oh wait, here's my friend real quick.
Okay.
There he goes, I think.
Okay, cool. Let me put it here. Is this it? It says how do you say it? I don't make sure. It says sans mortis.
Sans mortis.
You say it better than me. I'm terrible.
Vampiric kindred. Yeah, he's a cool dude. Yeah, he's cool.
Okay, awesome. So that's up there. What? Explain him again. I'm sorry. So he went, just because I sidetracked on something else for a second. So he.
He's just cool because he's a sort of a multifaceted artist, because he does music, modeling. He's a tattoo artist.
Okay.
And in terms of people of African American that are unusual, like myself, I consider me sort of unusual because you don't see a lot of people like us in terms of sort of cross genres, because I'm like a hippie gothic African American / part Native American, way back Creole poet type thing, and then he's like similar to that, which is really unusual, so and he has a lot of different Instagram pages, and I haven't had a chance to work with him in person yet. So at the very least, I want to do a shout out for him because he's just cool as hell. I think people should know about him more, and listen to his music.
Yes, that's that. Before we end it, I want to also include the Alicia Keys thing we're talking about. Cause I think it's important.
Alicia Keys is cool, man.
Yeah, this video is really, really, really inspiring. So it honors Black Lives Lost to police brutality and racism in a new song called Perfect Way to Die. This is from Women's Health magazine, but I'm just going to include it just in case. Okay. So people can look at it now because I'm going to edit this and take a bit for me to edit all this, but I just want to have it in here so people can look it up. So that's the article. I'm going to put an image so you guys can see it a second. So that's the article if you want to check it out. But I thought that was important to mention that it's not as known as other artists right now, and it should be. It's a really powerful message. But I guess we should close. We'll close it for today right now. But yeah. So we're gonna do an Instagram live stream. I don't know if it's gonna be next time. We're trying to space it out a bit because we got to rest and stuff. And Tarik's got a lot of stuff he's doing as well, and I have a lot of editing to do.
Oh my god, I hate doing that. She edits a lot, guys.
A lot. I'm so behind on getting them all out and frequently as much as I want to. So we're gonna do that, but we're gonna do an Instagram one. I gotta figure out how to do it. And then we're going to do the one with the guests, which is going to be amazing. So that's going to take a little bit of time to organize, but I'm really excited for that. I think that's going to be a really great episode where we have
it's going to be great.
I think it's going to be really dope. So keep an eye out for that. I will put messages and reminders out like crazy for that as well. And for the Instagram one too, I'll put reminders. And I want to apologize in advance for people if they don't have Instagram. Can you watch that on Instagram if you don't have an Instagram? You know, Tarik, like I can't remember if that's
it's weird. Like say someone sends someone an Instagram link, and they click the link, it goes to Instagram, and it goes, you want to go to app, and you say no, and you just like hit the video and watch it there. They couldn't comment or anything though without having an Instagram account, but they can still watch it. They could still
watch it. Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure it's like accessible to everybody, even if they don't have Instagram, because I know some viewers don't have it. But we want to do that also because, like I said before, a lot of the influencers and stuff like Tarik have a lot of followers on Instagram. So I want to have something so they can see, like, if they haven't been aware of this as much, like, oh wow, like this is what they're doing. So we decided to do maybe one on that. So keep an eye out for that, and for announcing who's going to be in our influencer episode, which will be awesome. So we'll close with that. Do you have anything in closing, or?
I guess that's good enough for now, and then we're just sort of like here and there, sort of adding maybe some links to this particular podcast that any other influencer, everybody else knows. You can put it in the comments that, you know, and we'll start brainstorming names for the positive version of you know, of uplifting culture, inspiration culture, whatever. I don't know. Name, you know, start thinking about names. We need something. We need something that can offset cancel culture. Because of course, some people should be canceled that do harmful things, but we need also a positive thing to think about as well. You know.
Yes, I'm just going to write in this like uplifting hashtag that is the opposite of cancel culture. So we want something for positive for everybody, which will be awesome. So I'm going to show that. So uplifting hashtags, that is the opposite of cancel culture. Send it to Tarik, send it to me, put it in the comments for YouTube or at Facebook Live, wherever you're watching this. Or you can, if you come up with it and you want to tag us in it, an Instagram picture or something, that's great. I'm going to make something for that and post that like by tomorrow as an Instagram post, so people can know to look out for that. But anyways, thank you so much for doing this. I'm sorry with the heat and stuff, but we have to have the fans for us guys, so don't worry about this.
We're like this, like, oh, it's so hot, man. Houston is like 98 degrees, something like that.
Oh my god. Yeah, today is nice over here. It's not too bad, but you were telling me yesterday it was like baking hot there. I was like, oh
yeah, and Houston gets like 102 degrees.
Jeez.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah, well, don't bake on the cooking way, not the baking.
It's like our next episode, Tarik is going to do a podcast from Hades. The bowels of hell and shit, you know. No, I love Houston. I just don't like the heat, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. All right, guys. So we'll be back soon, and thank you so much for supporting this. And I will have an edited episode up soon from this. All right, bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.